This is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for bending the knee.
The WNBA is supposed to be a league on the rise, finally getting the attention it deserves. But instead of celebrating its breakout star Caitlin Clark, the league is embroiled in a firestorm of controversy, entitlement, and shocking racial tension. At the center of it all, Brittney Griner, who's leaked on-court comments, "trash effing white girl," have ignited a nuclear response from entrepreneur and media titan Patrick Bet-David. And let's be clear, PBD didn't just criticize, he eviscerated the hypocrisy, the victim mentality, and the self-sabotage plaguing women's basketball.
You, ma'am, insults my intelligence. It insults science. It insults facts. It insults, an actual, you were born a man. You want me to call you a woman because it hurts your feelings?
This isn't just about one heated moment. It's about a league that's actively rejecting the very thing that could save it. A generational talent bringing in record ratings, sponsorships, and new fans. Instead of embracing Clark, players like Griner and Angel Reese are lashing out. Media figures are fueling racial divisions, and the WNBA's leadership is watching it all burn. It exposed the rotten culture dragging the league down. It exposed the rotten culture dragging the league down. If the WNBA doesn't wake up, it might not survive its own self-destruction. Before we dive in, smash that like button, share this with every sports fan you know, and subscribe for the unfiltered takes you won't get anywhere else. The viral clip that lit the fuse.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this with Brittney Griner, right? And
it all started with a single damning clip. Brittney Griner, frustrated after fouling out against Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever, muttering what sure sounded like trash effing white girl. The internet exploded. Was it a misheard slip? A heat-of-the-moment outburst, or something uglier? Patrick Bet-David didn't hesitate. He called it exactly what it looked like. A racially charged shot at the league's golden goose. And he didn't stop there.
Right? She says, this is from Brittney, every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called a freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the...
PBD didn't just dissect the comment, he connected the dots to a much bigger problem. While Clark is breaking viewership records, Griner and others are complaining about the attention. Imagine an NBA player getting mad that fans actually show up. It's unthinkable. Yet here we are. The hypocrisy is staggering. Griner was literally freed from a Russian prison in a high-stakes international swap, and now she's throwing shade at the player bringing real money and eyeballs to her league?
I don't care if some trans person wants me to call them a woman, like, I'm going to call you a woman. I'm not going to, put my fucking foot down about it.
Andrew, if I told you right now, call me daddy, would you call me daddy?
No.
Why not?
Well, because
call
you're
me
not
daddy,
my dad.
Andrew.
But you're not my dad.
But I want you to call me daddy. I view myself as your daddy.
Well, but you're not my...
But here's the kicker. This wasn't an isolated incident. It's part of a pattern. Angel Reese's cheap shots, media figures like Jamel Hill calling Reese the Michael Jordan of the WNBA, despite her 22% shooting, and ESPN's Ryan Clark dismissing RG3's opinion because he's married to a white woman. The WNBA's culture isn't just toxic, it's actively driving fans away, and PBD wasn't about to let it slide. PBD's brutal takedown line by line.
Playing a game, and this is what Brittney Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
Or the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
That pretty much...
When Patrick Bet-David responds to controversy, he doesn't hold back. This wasn't a measured take, it was a full-blown demolition. He played the Griner clip on his show and dropped the hammer. It pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl, let's just be honest. No spin, no excuses, just the raw, unfiltered truth, and that was just the opening salvo.
Brittney Griner talking all that trash. We traded the merchant of death for your ass, and you're out there talking shit and saying racist shit on the freaking sideline, and it's disgusting. Okay, that's...
PBD then tore into the entitlement oozing from Griner and her defenders. This is a player who was traded for the Merchant of Death, a literal arms dealer, and now she's complaining about fans actually caring about her sport? The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. While Clark is packing arenas, Griner is whining about the noise. While Clark is lifting the league's revenue, Griner is acting like she's the victim. PBD's message was clear. You don't get to bite the hand that feeds you.
Frustration in a recent interview claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment.
But the most brutal moment? When PBD exposed the fake outrage. He mocked the idea that WNBA players just want a quiet place to work, quoting satirical but revealing takes about how games used to be chill before Clark ruined it with actual fans. The punchline? These athletes are paid millions to entertain, and they're mad people are watching. If that doesn't sum up the WNBA's self-sabotage, nothing does.
Time she retired, Jamil Hill has made a bold prediction that Angel Reese will become the MJ of the WNBA by the time she retires. That's what she said. Okay?
The Angel Reese problem, a Michael Jordan joke gone wrong. If Griner's comments were bad, the Angel Reese hype train is even worse. Jamela Hill's claim that Reese is the WNBA's Michael Jordan isn't just wrong, it's delusional. Reese shoots 22.7% from the field, historically awful, yet she's being propped up as the face of the league over Caitlin Clark. PBD didn't just debunk this, he obliterated it.
With the hand up, her hands were down and how down, and that is a travel.
Reese drags the pivot foot, gives them to Indiana.
Michael Jordan, the guy who won 6 rings and dominated the game, compared to a player who can't even hit a layup? PBD's disbelief was palpable. He pointed out that even Karl Anthony Towns, an NBA player criticized for inconsistency, would be insulted by the comparison. The stats don't lie. Reese is one of the least efficient scorers in WNBA history, yet the media is gaslighting fans into pretending she's a superstar. And here's the real issue. This isn't about Reese. It's about the narrative over results. The WNBA is so desperate to push certain players that they're ignoring actual talent. Clark is breaking records, yet she's treated like an outsider. Reese is struggling, yet she's called the next MJ. If the league keeps this up, fans will walk away, and they should.
Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that...
The hypocrisy of elevating black women while tearing down Clark. Caitlin Clark tried to play nice. Remember when she said, as a white person, there is privilege? The more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. Instead of earning her goodwill, it backfired spectacularly. The same players and media figures demanding elevation are now actively tearing her down, proving this was never about fairness, it was about control.
Sick of the van. And then she says, the whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either about my performance or some light racism. Definitely one of the two.
Patrick Bet David didn't miss this irony. Clark bent the knee, and what did it get her? More hate. The WNBA's loudest voices don't want equality, they want dominance. Angel Reese gets praised for poor play while Clark gets scrutinized for historic success. The message? Know your place. But here's the problem. Sports thrive on merit, not manipulation. If the league keeps punishing excellence, fans will revolt.
And Clark.
And let's be real, this isn't helping black women. True empowerment comes from competition and respect, not forced narratives. If Reese wants to be the face of the league, she should outplay Clark, not rely on media pity. PBD's take was brutal but fair. You don't become MJ by missing layups.
By the time she retires, she will be the MJ of, go to Jamil Hill, type in Jamil Hill, yeah. She says, by the time she retires, Jamil Hill has made a bold prediction that Angel Reese will become the MJ of the WNBA by the time she retires. That's what she said.
The media's role in fueling the fire. The WNBA's dysfunction isn't just player-driven. The media is pouring gasoline on the flames. Jamila Hill comparing Reese to Jordan was bad enough, but ESPN's Ryan Clark took it further, attacking RG3's credibility because he's married to a white woman. Let that sink in. A major network analyst dismissed a black man's opinion based on his marriage. If that's not textbook racism, what is?
Care if some trans person wants me to call them a woman, like, I'm going to call you a woman. I'm not going to, like, put my fucking foot down about it. I don't
Andrew,
give a
if I told you right now, call me daddy, would you call me daddy?
No.
Why not?
Well, because
Call
you're
me
not my
daddy,
dad.
Andrew.
But you're not my dad.
But I want you to call me daddy. I view myself as your daddy.
Well, but you're not my dad.
But you're right.
BBD flamed this hypocrisy on his show. Since when does who you love determine your right to speak? The media's obsession with racial division is poisoning the league. Instead of celebrating Clark's impact, they're framing her as a villain for being white and successful. Imagine if the NFL treated Patrick Mahomes this way. There'd be outrage. But in the WNBA, it's business as usual.
Caitlin, I know you mentioned that, you want to focus straight on basketball. Definitely respect that. But when, just to ask you directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that specifically?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think, everybody in our world, deserves the same amount of respect. The women in our league deserve the same amount of respect. So people should not be using my name to push those agendas.
Here's the kicker. They're killing their own product. Fans don't want lectures on race, they want great basketball. The more the media pushes us versus them narratives, the faster viewers change the channel. PBD's warning, keep this up and the WNBA will be back to empty arenas fast.
The force primed to transform the game. The WNBA received in 2024, even before she took the field, notice from the basketball community.
Business reality, Clark is the only thing keeping the WNBA alive. Let's talk cold hard facts. The WNBA loses $50 million, 0 cents a year. It survives on NBA subsidies and charity. Then Caitlin Clark arrives, selling out arenas, shattering ratings records, and bringing in sponsors. So how does the league respond? By letting its players attack the one person making them relevant. It's financial suicide. BBD.
Things, and then Jamil Hill comes out. Rob, I don't know if you have this clip or not. Jamil Hill comes out and says Angel Reese at the end of her career is going to end up being, calls Angel Reese end of career will be known as Michael Jordan. All right, so for some of you guys that are watching this.
He crushed this point. You have a player who's literally saving your league and you're treating her like the enemy? The numbers don't lie. Fever games are up 300% in attendance. Clark's jersey is the top seller, but instead of marketing her as the superstar she is, the WNBA lets Griner and Reese undermine her. Name one other business that sabotages its best asset. You can't. And when Clark missed 2 games with injury, the ratings plummeted. That's the reality check. Without her, the WNBA is right back to irrelevance. PBD's final word? Pride comes before the fall, and this league is headed for a crash.
Be the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA.
Well,
it's not like she's the first white girl.
She's not the first white girl, but she's the first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care. When's the last time we watched like college basketball? If I told you, tell me to.
The Jackie Robinson paradox. Clark is the unlikely trailblazer. Here's the irony of ironies. Caitlin Clark might go down as the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA, but not for the reasons you think. Robinson broke barriers as a black man in a white league. Clark is breaking barriers as a white superstar in a black-ominated league, facing hostility from within. The parallels are stunning.
There's
nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. You know, those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really...
PBD drove this home. Jackie faced racism from fans. Clark is facing it from her own peers. Both were game changers who faced ugly resistance. Both proved their haters wrong by sheer dominance. But here's the difference. Robinson's league embraced him. The WNBA? It's actively resisting Clark. If the league had half a brain, they'd realize Clark is their ticket to legitimacy. Instead, they're repeating history's mistakes. PBD's verdict? They'll regret this in 10 years when documentaries ask, why did they waste their golden opportunity? Will the WNBA wake up before it's too late?
Outside of that, RG3 and comes out and says, man, you know, Caitlin Clark is a superstar and she's, you know, bigger than life and all this stuff. Ryan Clark, out of nowhere, Ryan Clark, who's a commentator, out of nowhere comes out and he says, well, what does RG3 know anything about this?
Patrick Bet-David didn't just criticize, he diagnosed the disease killing the WNBA. The victim mentality, the racial division, the rejection of success. Clark isn't just a player, she's the lifeline the league needs. But if Griner, Reese, and their enablers keep attacking the Golden Goose, the WNBA will crash and burn.
That being Cole's Angel Reese, end of career, will be known as Michael Jordan. All right, so for some of you guys that are watching this. Then,
Unbelievable.
have you seen this thing? So Jameel Hill, Rob, if you can find this thing.
PBD's final warning? When Caitlin Clark sits, we'll see the truth. The ratings will tank, the arenas will empty, and the league will realize, too late, that alienating your savior is a death sentence. The final warning, what happens next? So where does this go from here? Two paths. One, the WNBA wakes up, they stop the infighting, market Clark as the face of the league, and let talent, not narratives, decide stardom. Revenue soars, the league thrives. Two, double down on the toxicity. Clark gets pushed out, fans leave, the WNBA folds within a decade. PBD's prediction? They'll take doors too, because ego always loses to common sense. What's your take? Was PBD too harsh, or did Griner deserve every word? Drop a comment, smash like, and subscribe for more no-holds-barred sports analysis.